I think it's cool because you get to say, like, I worked with NASA. Someday this project could actually be on the ISS.
You get to work on things that are going to change people's lives.
How many high school students get to say that they built something for NASA?
It's really cool because it's experiential. You actually get out there and not just absorb knowledge, but you actually get to practice knowledge.
The best thing about it is that this is real life. You can't get any more real than this.
HUNCH is a partnership that we have with the NASA program. HUNCH stands for High School Students United with NASA to create hardware.
The NASA group has given us the opportunity to develop some experiments and testing them out on ultimately the zero-G plane.
They're engaged in real life projects.
By getting the actual hands-on experience, you can't learn a better way than that.
The students are working for NASA. Their ideas are things that NASA's said they'd like to see.
Their aim is to get this experiment up to the ISS, which is wonderful.
I really like working towards that goal of getting into space.
I'm really excited more about the project and see how it will succeed.
Right now, astronauts, they do not have anything to cook their food.
Crack an egg and cook an egg. The idea to start it that simply. It's what does it take? What does it take to get the egg out of the shell? What does it take at that point to get it from there to something where we can cook it? What happens when you cook it? Does it behave the same as it does here?
The egg cracker experiment is to successfully extract the egg, raw egg, out of the shell and be able to put it into a plate.
We put an egg right in here, and it cracks it by pushing the egg down into these blades. It's going to do that while it's spinning to sort of recreate a flicking action.
And the plate is being inserted into our egg cooker that the students designed.
High, low, and double dense. Okay. So it makes different cross patterns.
And with that, we're going to try to successfully cook a raw egg to medium, over medium, or sunny side up. We want something along those lines.
So right now,
experiments these kids are doing is related to the need for plants in space. So they're developing a plant chamber to grow vegetables or plants, flowers, whatever they want to in space. I mean, gravity or lack of gravity is a huge challenge. Water acts differently, and we deal with a lot of water. How that acts in space is very different than how it acts here on Earth, and that's driven a lot of their designs.
There are 2 spots for plants in this chamber, and the third hole will be filled with vortex so that air can be let in, but water won't be let out. It's removable. It can be replaced if the plants are to die on the International Space Station.
The challenge for me in this is trying to teach students that this isn't just some theoretical project. They're actually an employee of NASA, and we've got to adhere to their deadlines, and we've got to meet their expectations.
Eventually this project will actually be a real-world thing that is used on the ISS to help astronauts have a better life.
The students are putting all this effort into these projects that they know will go somewhere. Somebody will use the experiences down the line.
So that's basically what we've been working on, is designing and building and testing this plant chamber for the ISS.
The students who are working on building the zero gravity experiments, those students get to fly in zero-G, and we'll go down to Houston.
The trip in Houston went very good. There's a lot of success in the project with the flight, and it was a lot of fun as well.
When we first arrived, we went to Ellington Airfield. We kind of got acclimated, we got badged, we got oriented.
But don't get sucked into a jet engine, that's bad also.
They were pretty strict. I mean, it's definitely like a NASA government place, so they had us check out all the tools and make sure that we were like actually working and not just messing around.
NASA's expectations were to make sure that we were flight ready and to see that our project was a success.
The students work with the NASA engineers, with the HUNCH coordinator, Flo Gold, and various other people that volunteer from the local community around us.
We got to tell everybody about our project, show our safety requirements, and make sure that we were ready to fly.
we worked to make sure that all the systems were going to run and came up with backup systems in case it broke on the first flight and we needed to change it before the second flight, which was good.
And the reason we're doing this is that we need to see if these devices that we've built are going to work in zero-G.
There was a lot of process we had to go through, from getting our flight suits to the medication, from setting up to the egg, and then making sure everything worked before flight.
Then we took it on the flight and tested everything, and that was pretty exciting because our teardrop shape worked.
Well, I'm hopeful that the experiment will work, but you never know, something could go wrong. I guess we'll find out on the flight.
I think it's gonna go pretty well. We're all set to go, and just hopefully it'll work out.
There's this Boeing 727 that's been outfitted to do this. They've taken out all the seats and padded the inside. And then the plane flies out over the Gulf of Mexico, and they do 30 parabolas like this. And from about here to about here, it's zero-G.
The experiment turned out really well. We were able to cook 2 eggs and also crack 4 eggs in zero gravity successfully.
This was the first year we got to see the fish tank work, so I think it was a huge success to get everything working, and we made people notice us because our project really stood out.
The students are amazing. There's really no other way to explain it.
Something that just a bunch of high school students created could eventually make it into space, I think is a cool idea.
You know, when you're studying out of a textbook, you're not really doing something that somebody later on is going to use. I think that's just unparalleled in education right now. It's an amazing opportunity.
I don't think I could be doing anything better with my time.